So Israel faces a genocidal attack by Hamas. Men, women and children murdered, kidnapped, mutilated, beheaded, raped, burned alive. And Israel then fights to kill Hamas. 99% of the population of Gaza are not killed. And there's an almost more surgically precise targeting of combatants to non-combatants than has been seen by any other army in the history of modern urban warfare. And yet then in doing that, in trying to kill the genociders, eliminate the genociders and protect her people, Israel is called a genocide state. Israel is accused of genocide. This is the greatest blood libel in history ever made against the Jewish people, actually, come to think of it. And Natasha Hausdorff, a brilliant international lawyer who was speaking at the Oxford Union just recently, where they had a debate that said this house believes Israel is an apartheid state responsible for genocide. Here she lays down the facts to a very hostile audience. Such important words from someone who knows the legal definitions and is very, very familiar with it all. Have a watch.
Genocide is a slur being alleged against the real victims of genocide in this case, because it is providing a legal hook. The speaker will be heard. A legal hook. I'm glad actually that there is an opportunity for someone to be heard that can speak about what the ICJ actually found so far in the genocide case. Because unlike the speakers who have been invited this term, including Husam Zumlot, who repeatedly lies about what was found by the International Court of Justice in their provisional measures order, and unfortunately he wasn't challenged when he was here as a guest earlier this term, the ICJ has not found that there is plausible genocide or a risk of plausible genocide or anything of the sort. And I honestly thought that after Joan Donoghue, the former president of the ICJ, went on Hard Talk on the BBC to correct this falsehood, it would stop being repeated, but clearly not in institutions like the Oxford Union. Genocide is simply the latest version of the blood libel that is being propagated against Jews because they are Jews. And it is a blood libel not because it is targeting Jews, but because it is false. It is the falsehoods that have been coming out of the proposition benches this evening that are nothing new, because unfortunately, the oldest hatred, the hatred of the Jews, goes hand in hand with lies about them. Then we had this notion of colonialism. When one considers who the indigenous people in that territory are, Jews, indigenous to Judea, the notion that Israel is a colonial entity is laughable. One only needs to look at the archaeology. One of the major focuses, though, of this allegation of genocide is the falsehoods that we've heard about the last 13 months of Israel's campaign against Hamas and other Palestinian terrorist groups in Gaza. And when I was there, I also witnessed the challenges that the IDF was dealing with. Civilian houses booby-trapped in order to try and kill as many IDF soldiers as possible as they sweep through these areas seeking to evacuate civilians and target the Hamas who embed themselves in them. The notion that even the use of human shields that Hamas is proud of was disputed this evening starts to reveal the ridiculous position that the proposition have adopted. But there are root causes here, very important root causes that actually go hand in hand with all of the falsehoods that we have heard. It is either being put to you from a position of ignorance, or there is something far more malicious behind the falsehoods that have been repeated, emphasized, embellished even over the course of this evening. Indoctrination is at the core of the perpetuation of this conflict. When Palestinian kids are taught from kindergarten up that the highest calling in life is to slaughter as many Jews as possible and become a martyr, peace is being pushed further and further away.
The fact that people are heckling this just shows how they're totally in denial in the West. We create these totally false impressions of what the Palestinian cause is all about. Natasha's absolutely right. It's not about a Palestinian state for them. It's about killing the Jews. We see this. There's ample evidence for this. What we see from school textbooks, to what the terrorists said on October 7th, to the mass support for Hamas in Gaza. the evidence is overwhelming.
What nonsense? 3/4 of the terrorists who crossed the border on the 7th of October were educated in UNRWA-run schools. It is a matter of public record what the Palestinian Authority approved curriculum teaches in these UNRWA-run schools. And in fact, when I was on Trigonometry, the podcast, only a few months ago, they had the great initiative of playing some of Palestinian children's TV programs as part of that interview. This is material that many people, especially in this country, have never been exposed to. I encourage you to view it.
Absolutely. And this in some ways gets to the heart of the whole issue, because many people think that the Palestinian cause is based on a legitimate grievance of people wanting a state of their own, human rights, all the rest of it. And actually what it turns out is if you study it and don't try and put your Western projections onto the conflict and actually listen to the culture, understand the history of the conflict, listen to what the leaders say, look up the facts, you'll see that the cause is based on a pack of lies, and it's not about a legitimate grievance. The grievance is the Jewish people having a state of their own, re-establishing sovereignty in their ancient indigenous homeland. And it's about ideological hatred. If it was about a state of their own, it would have been solved a century ago. Now, by the way, Natasha Hausdorff, I'm actually going to be interviewing her in just a couple of days on JTV, so look out for that video. But if you're appreciating what it is that we're doing on JTV, then I ask of you, please help us in our campaign. We've only got 1 day left. This is our campaign. We're raising funds to have more to start doing documentaries, animated content, to have more presenters, and the purpose is to expand the channel so we can do more and have a bigger impact. We're getting millions of views every week now, but there's so much more we can do. And as you can see from a deeply ignorant or hostile audience at the Oxford Union, there's so much more we need to do to illuminate the truth to the world, which is the name of our campaign. Have a watch of our campaign video to learn more, and please do click on that link in the video description to donate, because not everyone's going to click on that link, and I'm counting on you to actually not just watch this video but click and help us become a partner with us by giving us some of by chipping in and contributing, and therefore becoming a partner with us in taking this to the next level and having the impact that the world that is so deprived of truth desperately needs. Have a watch of our campaign video. The world is full of lies.
That Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu bear criminal responsibility.
The truth is under attack.
Which river, which sea? So you don't know the answer.
From the media to the UN to celebrities, lies reign supreme. But the thing about the truth is that no matter how dark a room of lies, if you light one candle of truth, it can light up the whole room. That's why I created JTV, the global Jewish YouTube channel. We have been lighting the flame of truth on social media. We believe that the key to defeating anti-Semitism isn't just in fighting the hate, but it's about creating pro-Semitism and sharing the truth. There's nothing inevitable about anti-Semitism. We just need to tell our story with confidence, pride, and love. We believe that telling the truth, exposing the lies, and sharing the wisdom and beauty found within the Jewish story and the ideas of Judaism can transform the world. We're reaching millions of people all around the world from all backgrounds and perspectives. Every day we are transforming people's views about Israel, Jews, and Judaism. How do we know? Because they tell us. But there's so much more we can do. It's time for us to build a team to accelerate our growth and produce way more content that can appeal to even more people. We want to hire more presenters, start doing documentary series, and way more. And if we do that, JTV will start competing with the other big media players who peddle anti-Israel narratives. And that's where you come in. I'm asking you to please partner with us on our journey to spread the truth to the entire world by donating whatever you can to this fundraiser. Together, we will harness the power of social media to shine the light of truth to the whole world. Thank you so much for your support. So there's really not long to go now. I'm really counting on you to get involved. Please chip in whatever it is you can, and it will really be a massive, massive help to us. If you appreciate what we're doing, appreciate our impact, appreciate the videos that we're putting out there to enlighten people who are either ignorant or maybe even hateful. Please get involved. Collectively, if we all come together, we can have a massive impact. Thank you so much.